man? What the hell happened to you?
You gotta understand, man. The times have changed. People have grown, and this is not the same film trilogy and even film category that people still love. Although it's different to some people means evil, if you know what I mean. Different means bad. Different means no. Different means don't even try this ever again. So let me tell you guys something that I am a fan of the Men in Black film series. I quote it often. I'm a big fan of these movies, and yeah, even I kind of had the benefit of the doubt with the third movie, Men in Black 3. I'll admit I was still pretty interested to check the film out, anyways, even though I was a little bit concerned about how the film would turn out. But I'm glad to admit that it's actually became one of my favorite films. So, the year prior to, or a couple of years prior to Men in Black 3, Men in Black International had been announced, a new movie that would have nothing to do with the original. So, which had people like me, fans of the movie, concerned and saying, is it good? Is it better? Or is it just plain bad? I've heard a lot of people say it's just plain bad. But I thought I'd give you guys my personal thoughts and opinion. So welcome geeks and nerds to Lady Universe Movie Review, and today the movie that I'm reviewing is the one and only. Green geeks and nerds, I'm Lady Universe and I'm White and Nerdy. I have never seen Men in Black International, and even though the fight is to say that this came out in 2019 when Spider-Man Far From Home, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and even Alita Battle Angel was hitting the scenes and was becoming pretty popular movies by that standpoint. And Men in Black International had received a lot of negativity, especially towards fans of the original trilogy or original movies. But does it really deserve that negativity? Well, we have to. Well, this is my own relative review of the movie, so I'm going to give you the good, bad, and also some of the suggestive material behind it. But I am here to say and tell you that in no means regards is this movie bad. It has its flaws, yes, of course, but it's not bad. It's not great either, but it's not bad. I would call it in the good category, with that it's still a movie that you can watch and still get some enjoyment out of. But let me tell you guys straight away, I really do love this movie because I think it captivates everything that we loved from the original trilogy, and it's just a really damn good movie, all things depressing, but there are some negativities, that I'll get into it. But aside from that, I really think that the film captured the original trilogy that people really do love. The style of the movie, the look, the energy, everything says Men in Black in this movie, and that doesn't make it a bad thing, it makes it even more superb and even more appealing in my eyes. You know, years after Chris Hemsworth and Liam Neeson saved the world, we follow a woman played by Tessa Thompson named Molly who believes in aliens, but nobody really believes her that she's seen an alien. So she does the best of her ability to find out where the Men in Black are located, how to get accepted into the Men in Black, and then once she is, that's where the movie really does begin to take off. Now, I do have to say, first of all, that I really do love how the movie opened up with Chris Hemsworth and Liam Neeson working together. These two also on the screen had very amazing chemistry. They also have the most amazing badass voices, so it's kind of like you're combining this into one ultimate character. It's just fantastic. I really do love it. I think it's really superb and great in this series. In this movie, I mean, and also Tessa Thompson is great. She's adorable. She's quirky. She had a lot of things that are working for her, and that really does appeal to this movie, especially later on with her and Hemsworth's performance, which is really good. I like the chemistry that bounces off between the two of them, and they're a great comedy duo. In fact, you also see that being carried over from Thor Ragnarok, where they first worked together, and especially in Thor: Love and Thunder. But I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a bad thing. It's actually a compliment for this movie. It's a thing. The negativity, though, kind of carried off very quickly. I mean, I love Emma Thompson, but it kind of feels like that she doesn't give a shit to be in this movie like she did the last one. Personally, she kind of feels like she's bored. And one of the things that I really do hate with this movie is that to join the Men in Black, you don't have to have the skills, you don't have to have any personalities, or you don't have to have these good assessment in everyday life. No, She got hired on because she had no life. That's like 50% of the world or smaller that kind of technically doesn't feel like they have a life. So they can be invited into the Men in Black too. Or anyways, right? But I do have to say that for the international part, I kind of like this. It kind of feels like a different team, kind of like Justice League International or the West Coast Avengers. This really does feel, or even Titans East, this really does feel like it's kind of contributing to those other comics, with having a different team coming here together. And in fact, I really do like the flavors that Men in Black International kind of played around with. It kind of played around with like movies at the time, like The Man from Uncle and Kingsman, and really kind of played with the flavor. And oh, in all honesty, I really do like how it plays it out. I do also have to hand it to this movie for having a lot of interesting set pieces and a lot of interesting backgrounds that this film goes to, but it doesn't have the greatest of special effects, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some parts that really do stand out and look good, but then there's other parts where they really could have done better, and especially since Rick Baker didn't work on this movie, yeah, you kind of do get that sensation. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that I love Whit Baker as a special effects artist, especially since he worked on one of my favorite films of all time, An American Werewolf in London, and the special effects there were really damn awesome, especially the transformation sequence, which was really damn awesome. The transformation sequence that he did with David in the movie, really, really interesting, and especially if you watch the behind the scenes, it's even more interesting. But it really does feel like you get that different sensation of like this is not Rick Baker's baby, unlike the original Men in Black trilogy, which is basically Rick Baker coming in here and being like, look at the special effects that I can do in this movie. And Rick Baker, all in all honesty, is one of the great master classes of making special effects, which pisses me off because even if he did work on this movie, by the way, is that he did the 2010 remake of The Wolfman, which is not very good in my opinion, and the special effects really do not stand out like they do in American Werewolf in London or even Hellboy, and yes, Men in Black, unfortunately. So even if he did work on this, there are way too many CGI or practical effects, and I way too many CGI effects. I mean, or computer effects. And it's like, I'm not against CGI, but I'm still the guy that really does love practical effects in his movies. And Rick Baker going back and watching the original trilogy before Men in Black International as sort of a lead up, yeah, you do get to see the differences between Rick Baker's amazing piece of art and then you get to see what is now considered the greatest of his films. Like, I do love Pacific Rim. I love the Godzilla movies that came out after Godzilla 2014, but it's just in some areas, CGI can look great, but then in other areas it can look very crappy. And in this movie, it kind of had the blend of both. There are some areas where it looks great, and other areas where it just looks completely ugly. And unfortunately, it falls way too much in the ugly category. Like there were too many special effects going on in this movie where it's like, yeah, they really could have done this better. In all honesty. But I do like the story in this, in that there's a bunch of aliens coming to Earth to stop this thing called the Hive, which supposedly Chris Hemsworth's character H had supposedly defeated. But that wasn't actually the case in this. With the story, in all honesty, it's pretty good. But at first, what's bad about this is that it starts out very poorly. Like the story doesn't know where it wants to be, but then later on in the ending, it picks up and it gets even better. Mostly what holds this film together is the acting quality of Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. I love the two of these guys working together, and they really show off just how great that their friendship is. There are several moments where their characters are just bonding over just something, and you really get this sensation that they're really good friends behind the camera, and that is what makes the movie even more impressive. But as far as impressive story goes, no, I gotta say that the original Men in Black does have a better story than this one, because the story just doesn't feel very complete. The downside and the good side of what is happening to both the good and the bad is that on the good side, the story later on becomes better. Noted I said later on when they find out who the mole is behind the whole operation. That's one of the good sides. The bad side behind all of this is that kind of the lead up to this kind of feels like it took everything from the original Men in Black, just the original, not necessarily the second or third, mostly the original, and kind of making Tessa Thompson of Will Smith's character James, and it doesn't work in that category. While yeah, Tessa Thompson and Will Smith are both granted great actors in their own rights, Tessa Thompson does not have as much. I don't want to say this rudely, but she doesn't just have as much charm that Will Smith brought to the character um, of James Edwards from the original film. The fact that that he had belief but also disbelief of this alien world, and Smith handled that with such a charm that you did want to follow him throughout the entire adventure that he went through in all three films. While Tessa Thompson does have a class all her own, she always has her own charisma, and she does have her own grace in performing roles. I really do feel like that she's really trying to capture Will Smith, and she shouldn't have done that if that's what she tried to do. She should have tried to have it be her own thing. But in fact, while I say that she's trying to be James from the original movie, she does have a kind of twist on it because her character Molly is more of a believer in this and the aliens and supernatural compared to what James was in the original movie. So it kind of does give you that sort of vibe. And I would not compare um, Chris Hemsworth's character of H to that of, Tommy Lee Jones's character as K. K had class, he had charisma, and he was when he's in his own world, so to speak, something that the third movie captured very well, which was in Josh Brolin. And in this film, he doesn't feel like he captured K at all. It feels like that he really is going for Patrick Warburton Ed T from the second movie because it's like he's very sincere. I love Chris Hemsworth. He's a great actor and everything. God bless him. But he plays this role so much like an idiot. And I know that in the Thor movies, he kind of plays Thor like an idiot. It's kind of like, well, Thor is kind of an idiot. I mean, he comes from a world where things are different than Earth realm, so it kind of makes sense that Thor would be kind of like an idiot. He kind of be confused about everything that's going on between his world and our world, but he is a human that is so disconnected. And I noted that as a bad thing at first, and I'm like, why is he so disconnected from everything? He's supposed to be this really good agent, but he feels like an idiot. He feels like Booster Gold from Batman the Brave and the Bold, truthfully. But then when they give off the answer of what happened, I'm like, that actually does make actual sense. Like, this is the reason why he's acting so different. And the fact when he notices that, his character completely changes, and for the better, which makes it even good. So, and I gotta tell you, guys, if you ever have a comedy with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson in the future, like a rom com or anything, even a buddy cop comedy, they are good together. This duo works so damn well together, in my opinion. Never mind the Thor movies, these two need to have their own movie together, like a buddy cop comedy or just a comedy in general, or even a drama. They work so damn well together, it's great. I love the chemistry and the flair just between the two of these guys, and I gotta hand it to them that they did such a great job. They handled it with such a class and such a chemistry that can never be matched for anything. Also, the ending feels very much ripped off from not really the second movie, but more so the first movie where they face off against Evil Edgar. It's like, great. You kind of stole the infamous ending from the original movie. Great job, guys. A plus for effort. Although I do have to say that, yeah, I do like it, and it was kind of, in its own way, very great. It had its own chemistry that really did shine for the other movies, so to speak. But kind of noticing that they might have took way too much inspiration from the first movie with Evil Edgar, K and J facing off against him. Yeah, kind of noticed that. So is Men in Black International the worst film that I've ever seen? Do I agree with the other critics, especially saying like this is one of the worst films and it deserves to be punished forever? Not necessarily. I really did like Men in Black for all that it's worth, and truthfully, I had more of an entertaining time than I expected to have. My expectations weren't low, and my expectations weren't high either, but this film, still as it holds up, it's still quite a great film that you should see at least once despite the criticism. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below if you've seen Men in Black International. Do you hate it? Do you like it? Do you think it's kind of good in its own unique way? Or do you think it's just plain bad? Let me know. My final rating is very difficult to do on this film. I originally wanted to give it either a Magic or an Aquaman, but that's kind of being a little too nice to the film. I wanted to give it an Emma Bloodstone, but it's not exactly a diamond in the rough, so to speak. But it does have a sense of the nostalgic, and it is appealing to look at, even if you just look at it once and kind of get an entertainment value out of it, like I did. I can certainly see myself watching this even more times in the future, either by myself or with friends or whoever is around me. That's why I'd have to rate Men in Black International truthfully, a Chucky Finster. While it's not bad, it definitely isn't a piece to look at, there is that sense of nostalgia that comes off of the movie itself. So it is worth of a Chucky Finster rating and having something that's unique, but also something that is classic and nostalgic that still holds up to us viewers even till today, especially as fans of Men in Black. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Men in Black International if you've seen it yet. Do you think that you agree with my rating that it's kind of good in its own regards? It could have been better, and especially some things should have been changed around. And if this film ever does get a sequel, hopefully that it becomes even more better. Or are you just a fan of the original trilogy? Like I said, and the original trilogy is still, like films that I will still reference and even quote till to this day. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys want to join my own Men in Black, be sure to follow me on my Twitter, which is linked in the description down below. If you like to join my international team, because I know that a lot of my viewers are all over the place, be sure to subscribe to my channel as well. And you know what the difference between me and you and me is? I make it look good. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do not make me use my neuralizer on you all to go back and watch this video again, or even watch Men in Black International again, just to give it a second shot. The only way you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. My reading your votes, or waiting nerdy, keep eking on. And as always, guys, take care, and look out for the aliens out there. And I'll see you next time.